Hi, this is Scott Garibay. Today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we're going to talk about communism. All right, let's get into it. All right, and we're going to talk about Gary Gygax, and we're going to talk about how Titans are epically flawed. All right, let's get into it. Okay. And by the way, all right, we're going to talk about Lucille Ball. And by the way, Lucille Ball and Gary Gygax, same thing. American Titans who were epically flawed. All right. So, okay. So, my favorite genre, my favorite genre to watch anything is brand new, expensive, free to me, right? So that's exactly what Prime Video has right now. They have a movie called Being the Ricardos, right? And it's about Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, right? And their marriage and the Lucille Ball show and the history of it and what it meant to America. But also it's a story about their lives, right? It's not fictional. It's like a documentary with Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem, and it's put on by Aaron Sorkin, the guy who did West Wing, which I watched all 7 seasons of, right? This thing probably cost $50 to maybe $150 million, right? You get Nicole Kidman, you're dropping $5 or $10 million on her. Javier Bardem, you probably dropping $2.5 to $5 million on him. Aaron Sorkin ain't coming in for less than $5-10 million, right? You're approaching $30 to $50 million just on the top 3 staff, right? Like, this thing was expensive, right? A lot of money went into this, right? So I did not know this, but they showed it in the first. I haven't even finished the thing yet, but it shocked me just in the first 30 minutes. I did not know this. There was a scare on the Lucille Ball show when it was announced that Lucille Ball was a full-on Communist Party member. Check the box, Communist Party member, right? Now this is in the 50s. Yeah, I think this is in the 50s, not the 60s, right? So, might have been in the 60s, might have been in the 50s, between the 50s and the 60s, right? This is a big deal, right? So McCarthy is out there going, hey, everybody, there are communists who are infiltrating America, right? Today, there are still movies made that mock McCarthy openly. Like, oh, Hollywood is just a bunch of, hiding in the weeds communists, and they're trying to convert everyone to communism. Right? And they're like, how ridiculous, what an absurd idea. McCarthy was an idiot, right? But wait, did I just, what? Lucille Ball have a checked the box Communist Party member, right? Oh, and wait, just like McCarthy had said, she didn't tell anybody that, and she had 60 million Americans watching her every year. Her show was so powerful, right? Literal power, that the electrical stations in different companies adjusted their power structure because so many Americans just put on Lucille Ball's show, and the water draw went down. Like, it was insane how many people were watching Lucille Ball, right? So McCarthy's like, we've been invaded, right? Like we have been infiltrated. There are secret communists who are using television to get their message out. And everybody's like, you're such a fool, McCarthy, what do you know? Right? Now we're sitting in 2021, and they're openly making a movie saying, oh yeah, number one comedian in the world, on the biggest platform in the world, was a full-on check-the-box Communist Party member. Like, completely proving what McCarthy was saying was 100% right? And now, but see, that's just it. America, we don't go back, right? We don't go back and correct the record, right? Like, now it's, no, Lucille Ball was a complete American, right? Now, first of all, she was an American, but she was also a communist. Like, full-on, check the box, right? And not as a kid. Nobody twisted her arm, right? Like, she was a communist. She was a full-on, check the box, Communist American Party member, right? I was like, whoa. I had no idea this was real, right? Now, to me, that's a major flaw. That is an epic flaw, right? And if you're like, oh, no, Scott, there was nothing wrong with that. Why did she hide it? She desperately hid it every single day of her life and denied it the moment it was proven, right? Like, it was a titanic, epic flaw, right? She wanted to be an American movie star. She wanted to be an American television star. She wanted to be an American epic, and she knew, right? We got beef. America got beef with communists, right? Like, we got beef with communists. Like, there was like a missile crisis in the 60s, you know. We had a Cold War that went for like 20 or 30 years. Like, America and communism don't mix. It's oil and water, right? And it ain't changed, right? Right now, we're like, oh my gosh, are they going to invade Ukraine? Like, and what are we going to do? Well, we already know what we're going to do. Nothing. That's why they're going to do it again, right? They did it on Obama's watch, and they're like, oh, hey, Obama was totally okay with us invading Ukraine. Biden, you're Obama light, right? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, just give us the thumbs up. Oh, sanctions, thanks for the thumbs up. Go. Like, it's like incredible, right? Like, you can't make, if you wrote this down as a story, people would think you were crazy. Like, people would like, oh, that's too much. You're like, yeah, it's too hard to believe, right? Like, right? So, like, American and communism don't mix, right? Lucille Ball was an amazing American talent. All right, so first of all, what's my relationship with Lucille Ball? I think she's an okay comedian, right? I really didn't vibe with the Lucille Ball show. But you know what I did vibe with? The Carol Burnett show. I think that Carol Burnett is one of the top 5 funniest human beings that have ever lived on this earth. Right? I am hugely a fan of Carol Burnett, right? I am also a massive fan of Lily Tomlin. Right? I'm a big comedy fan, right? My big go-to right now is Dave Chappelle. I think he's the best in the game, right? And actually, in a game anymore, he has turned comedy job into philosopher king. But here's the thing, all right? Carol Burnett, Lily Tomlin, they don't exist. They don't exist without Lucille Ball, okay? She paved a road they sprinted down, right? So they sprinted down a paved road that she created for them, and then they went and further and made amazing content that I am, incredibly thankful for and really love to this day, right? So without a doubt, Lucille Ball was an American titan, right? I love what she created for this country, right? She was also a check-the-box, full-on Communist Party member, right? That's what this movie's saying, right? And, and I'm saying that I believe what the movie is saying, right? Yeah. All right. So, here's the issue, right? That is an epic flaw, an absolutely catastrophically epic flaw, right? I don't like the fact that, that Lucille Ball was this, very engaged, was a Communist Party member. Like, not like, went to a couple meetings, like, check the box, I'm a communist, right? Because, like, I don't want I don't want America to be communist. I don't. Like, I like our freedom and our capitalism and all the things that are awesome, right? Like, it's, oh, by the way, there's one other communist issue that we have that I can't even say, like, because we can't have open conversations today, right? Like, like, it's just, woo, all right? So she was an American titan. She had epic flaws. Gary Gygax, American titan, right? What he accomplished for America, which is spreading to the rest of the world right now, extra life, the ability to tell the most powerful stories in human history. Everything is antiquated by the tabletop, by the Dungeons and Dragons narrative engine, right? Shamanic Tales, thank you, no thanks. We have a better model. The silver screen, the big screen and the small things, thank you, no thanks. We have a better model, right? Video games, thank you, no thanks. We have a better model. We have the ability to tell the most powerful stories in the world. We have the ability to say, oh, hey, do you have struggles with the life you have? Here's an extra life, and here's an extra life. Here's 1,000 extra lives. Here's a world that's yours, right? Like, what he did is just amazing. He's an American titan, right? But he was epically flawed, right? What was Gary's epic flaw? Hubris. He had hubris the size of the Himalayan mountains, right? He brought in the Bloom brothers, blew his relationship with them, right? He brought in Arneson, right? Blew his relationship with him. He brought in Lorraine Williams, blew his relationship with him. But people who look at Gary's history, which is virtually everyone who looks at Gary's history today, they don't see the truth, right? They want to tell you, oh, the Blues Brothers were the villain. Oh, Arneson was the villain. Oh, Lorraine Williams was the villain, right? Everybody was at fault but Gary. Gary was at fault. He took on too much. He thought he could control the commercial. He thought he could control the creative. He didn't have the bandwidth for both. He should have given, commercial control to. He handpicked everybody. I just said, right? And then he, tanked his relationship with all of them. Just utterly destroyed it because his hubris was immense. He had no humility, right? He had 1% humility, to 99% hubris, right? He was an American titan, right? And he was epically flawed. Now, why is this important? Well, I'll tell you why. Encouragement, right? I love this channel and I love doing it, but this year I made mistakes that I'm just these were bad mistakes, and I wish I had done this differently. And and the price that's paid personally to commentate on D&D is higher than I think you guys know. It really is, right? And I thought I was alone in this. Recently I've been listening to Condor DM, and he gets so I didn't know how harsh some of his responses were, right? Also, Pruitt from WebDM was like, I'm out, right? Pruitt from WebDM has sponsors coming up. They're getting 100,000 views per video. He had made a job of it. It was like, I'm burnt out and I have to worry about my mental health, right? And so I do this channel. I do the best I can, and I'm often amazed at how the vast majority of comments are negative, right? And I wish I could just tune it out when there are really nice people who are still engaged with the content and leaving wonderful comments. But I look at it and I'm like, why did I screw up this year so bad, right? How could I have done this better to make this enjoyable and winsome for everybody? Why did I have to delete so many videos, right? And it's hard because because the internet is the internet, and people are like, it's not enough for me to debate you on the point. I got to make this personal and extend it to people beyond you, which is horrendous and terrifying, right? And I think I've reached a point where that's starting to tamp down, and I have to deal with it less, and I have a new method to handle it, right? But it encourages me that when I've made bad mistakes and I was like, I didn't really want to make these mistakes, I wish things had been better, I can look at the people I admire, like Lucille Ball and Gary Gygax, and say, you know what, there's, American Titans are epically flawed, and I am epically flawed. I wish I could find a better path through all this, and I think I am finding a better path through it, but I wish it hadn't been being dragged over ground glass. So I'm just, and even though it sounds downbeat, I actually took great encouragement from the fact that Lucille Ball was exactly like Gary Gygax. Both of them were American Titans, and both of them were epically flawed. I know I'm epically flawed. I'm trying to be an American Titan. The thing I want to do is get everybody to see that Gary was it. That America's history is George Washington, Harriet Tubman, Gary Gygax, not even in that order of importance. I think what Gary has done actually may exceed what the good America does at some point, right? So, and that's where, and if I can get there, then I think I'll have that American Titan. I'll be able to attach that American Titan badge to myself the way Lucille Ball did and the way Gary Gygax did. Certainly it's a long shot, right? But we don't get anything if we don't try, right? And I'm not afraid of failing, and because I've discussed failure previously. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.